Who is the most underrated quarterback?
I think this guy right here is. I mean, like,
I paid him to say that. This is quarterbacks on quarterbacks.
I'm Marcus Mariota, quarterback with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Patrick Mahomes, quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Kirk Cousins, quarterback of the Minnesota Vikings. You know, we're on our summer break right now, and so the diet's a little different. And so for me, it's less about desserts and sugar and more about just a good, hearty, cheap meal of pizza and burgers and kind of that fast food stuff. I know some people would think that's gross, but I can't get enough of fast food. And I know in this documentary, this guy over here loves Mickey D, so I think he's gonna agree with me.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy. I'm a McDonald's guy through and through, so.
He's loyal.
Man.
A breakfast, lunch,
Man,
dinner?
what? Nah, just a breakfast. Just breakfast.
All right.
You give me a number 2, I give you the order. I give you number 2 with an orange juice. I'm good to go for the day.
Okay. If it's in the off season, I'm in Texas. Then I usually get Tex-Mex, Mexican food. Sorry, Kansas City, you don't do Mexican food the right way.
My favorite moment from this past season has to be the comeback against the Colts.
The greatest comeback in history.
It was the largest in pro football history. We'll see how long it stands, but with this guy, who knows, no lead is safe. But after the win, I was able to bring my son into the locker room, which this documentary was able to capture. That was all pretty special.
People would probably think the Super Bowl, but obviously the Super Bowl is the Super Bowl. Those are moments you always will have, and I thought we played a great game in that one. For me, it was the AFC Championship. I was dealing with the injury. We had a lot of injuries on the team. The receivers were injured. A lot of guys just stepped up in that moment. I thought just to see the guys that had worked all year and hadn't really played, and they stepped up in those big moments and make those plays, that's what makes you proud of.
For me, it was early on in the year. Atlanta was a younger team. We started off 0-2, went on the road in Seattle, a pretty hostile environment. Doug went out as a team. We ended up winning the following week to go 2-2. And like Pat said, you gain more of just like an electric feel when your entire team finds a way to do it.
We had a comeback when I was in Washington that wasn't quite as big as the one this past year, but it was the largest in Washington's history. And at the end of the game, I walked through the tunnel and I screamed, "You like that?" at somebody in the tunnel. And, "You like that? You like that?" That'll kind of always follow me and probably always take the cake of a favorite memory in this league, because it was a time when I was kind of teetering on, am I a backup in this league? Am I a starter? Where's my career gonna go? I was in a contract year. And I look back now, 8 seasons have passed since then, but I can see kind of how that was a defining moment for me, and so I'll always go back to that moment as a big part of my football journey.
My first year starting, the last regular season game, I threw a touchdown to one of my best friends, DeMarcus Robinson. At the same play, I threw for 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns. And at the time, I thought that's just how NFL worked. I was my first year starting.
I can tell you that's cool. Not how it works.
This
Maybe
is cool.
for him.
But now that I've kind of went through the adverse moments in the NFL, I realize how special of a moment that was.
2017, I was with the Titans, and there's a span of like 14 seasons where the Titans hadn't made the playoffs. And we had a win or go home game. It was cold, man. It was like 19 degrees, and everything was on the line. We found a way to make it close at the end, got a big third down to convert it, run the clock out. I think for me in my career, that was a special moment to take the team to first playoff appearance in 14 seasons.
And you had an epic win, Arrowhead.
I was there, I was watching. I have to say that.
Yeah.
It was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. When you throw a pass and you catch it and then score a touchdown, I think it might have been 4th down or something too, man. That was the wild moment.
Having played at Arrowhead a couple times, I know how tough it is. We played on Monday night. We played there in some tough environments. And so to kind of watch him go on the road in the playoffs and do it, I was like, man, that takes some grit to do that.
I appreciate that.
This dude has a lot of wins in tough places.
No doubt.
The guys.
No doubt.
Seattle, Arrowhead, man. We won a game, and Kevin Harlan was on the call where we won the game and the Patriots lost at the same exact time. And I remember Coach Reed had told them not to show the score because that determined if we were gonna get a bye or not. So obviously we thought the Patriots were gonna win. And so you didn't know the score, even though we were on defense and nothing was going on. But you heard the fans; they started cheering. And I remember we were asking fans, we're like, "They lose?" And they were telling us. And I thought that was a cool moment to have at Arrowhead. I've grown up watching a lot of quarterbacks that are still in the league. So I would say Tony Romo. Obviously, I'm from Texas, so I was a Cowboys fan growing up. I liked the way he played. Always was making stuff happen out there, and even like how he golfs even more. And that's how I hope my golf game is one day.
That's good. My favorite retired quarterback would probably be Drew Brees. I grew up watching him when he was at Purdue in college, and then all the way through his pro career. I kind of tried to pattern my game after him. It was funny because all the guys I grew up watching, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Phillip Rivers, Eli Manning, I ended up playing against them. At one time, I felt like all the competition was the guys I was watching when I was in middle school and high school. So it's been kind of fun to watch them retire because I feel like I get to go against some younger guys now.
Growing up, my pops was a huge 49ers fan. He would always talk to me about Steve Young. I just thought My game kind of was comparable to that. I felt like I could kind of run and throw just around the same sort of level as he could, and I always would check his highlights out and just enjoyed watching him play and what he would do.
I think this guy right here is. I mean, like.
I paid him to say that.
No, I mean, if you look at Kirk over here, man, wins every year, puts up great stats, did it in Washington, does it in Minnesota. Talk to any other quarterbacks in the league, they're gonna say the same thing.
I agree with that. I've been in a few systems and a few coaches, and a lot of the tape that we'd watch was of Kirk. A guy consistently, year in and year out, continues to prove why he is one of the top quarterbacks in the league.
I don't know how to follow that up. Anytime you can be complimented by your peers, it beats any compliment coming from anybody else in your life, so that means a lot. I kind of always scratch my head at the Jimmy Garoppolo situation in San Francisco because I know how hard it is to win in this league, and it seems like every time he comes out there, they win, and then they're moving on from him or trying to draft somebody and trade up, and I'm thinking, pretty hard to win double-digit games in this league, and that's all they seem to do when he plays. So obviously, I don't know all that goes on there, but if he does it again with the Raiders, at some point, this guy's just a winner.
I hope he doesn't do it again with the Raiders.
Yeah.
No offense.
We got to play him too this year, so I hope the same thing.
Jerry Rice obviously has been top guy. Everyone talks about how great of a player he was, and his level of consistency throughout his career, again, unmatched. A guy, I feel like you just put it in his vicinity, he's gonna go get it. So for me as a quarterback, I'd love to throw to him.
Yeah, I got to keep it right at home with the Minnesota Vikings and Randy Moss. I mean, the guy caught 23 touchdowns in one season when he was with the Patriots. He did it immediately as a rookie. He did it on different teams, in different systems. And big plays are what this league is about, and he made big play after big play, even when defenses knew it was coming, they couldn't stop. He's kind of in a league of his own in that sense.
It's hard to throw 23 touchdowns.
No doubt, no doubt. Yeah, if you have 23 touchdowns in a season, that's a pretty good year, let alone to one guy.
I play with a guy named Tyreek Hill, who's another fast receiver that can make plays downfield, but having a guy like Randy Moss, who you can just throw it as far as you can throw it, and he runs underneath it. And if he's not open, he jumps up and makes the catch. I've always wished I had a guy like that. I mean, that's one of one.
I'd love to play golf. Watching Full Swing, man, I got crazy amount of respect for what those guys do on a week-to-week basis. It'd be cool to be able to do something like that.
I would want to be like a sports advisor or agent. I just want to give that advice, teaching other guys. And so being able to be an agent or an advisor or whatever that is and showing guys how to do it the right way would be something that I think would be special.
I've really enjoyed business and investing, which has come along with being a pro athlete. You have to kind of get a crash course in how to steward all that's coming in. And I think to kind of take that a little further and become great at investing and stewarding the assets well, I think that'd be a really fun career. And I think thankfully, because of football, I might be able to do that when I retire, which should be fun.
Quarterback is now streaming only on Netflix.